Well, with the weather heating up here in the Ozarks, you definitely need to make sure that your air conditioning is working properly. So we are out here at A1 Custom Car Care with Dustin Atwood. Hey, Dustin.
Thanks for coming and being with us today.
Thanks for having me again. So how does the air conditioning AC unit work in your car?
So most people, when it stops working, they're concerned about filling it up with new refrigerant of some kind, whether it's 134A or 1234YF. And I fix a lot of cars without putting refrigerant in it, and whether it's an electrical issue, some kind of a pressure sensor issue. So just putting more refrigerant in it sometimes creates more problems than it's worth.
You were talking about some debris in some of the coils. I'm not the mechanic here, that's why you're the expert.
So a couple of different things. Sometimes if you pick the wrong refrigerant or a refrigerant with a stop leak or a sealer in there, which this time of year, every big box store out there has the refrigerant on display with the stop leak, you guarantee yourself an AC system failure if that gets in your system. And if you don't let the mechanic know about it, it actually damages my machine. So it's that bad for your AC system. So what we want to do is A, make sure what's wrong with it before we go just guessing and throwing parts at it. And B, when we do a repair, we want to make sure it's a long-term repair. So that debris or that stop leak clogs up the system and I have to replace the whole thing versus just fixing whatever the failed component is.
Right, it could be as little as $100 versus $1,000, right?
Yes, very much so. So more often than not, it is a small repair. You're talking like 100, 200 bucks. But if you ever put the wrong or contaminate the system, which this has an identifier in it, will let me know, then we're $1,000+ when we could have done the lower cost repair and got you cool and back on the road.
Yeah, you can definitely save a lot more money by being very diligent. So this system right here, is this like a diagnosis
It is.
system?
So the old vehicles, it was very simple, but now we have temperature and pressure sensors incorporated throughout the system. So I may find a low cost sensor issue that unless you have the right equipment and training, you're not going to find it.
Right.
And so we want to not only diagnose what's going on with the practical old school pressures, but we're also going to look at it with the computer as well. And I fix a lot of cars with that without ever having to get into the refrigerant side of things.
That's why you're the expert. That's why you have the training to be able to work on machines like this. How does someone know if they have a leak in their air conditioning?
So typically we're going to evacuate it and weigh it. And so on each vehicle, it's actually right here, it'll tell us the amount of refrigerant that's supposed to be in this one. This one is pound and 12/10 of a pound. So we're going to put a little bit over 18 ounces in this vehicle. So if there's a leak when we evacuate it out, I'm going to be able to see the difference and I'm going to know whether it did need a charge or we had an electrical issue going on with the diagnostic equipment.
Okay, so there could be, you know, a dozen different things that could be wrong with it, but you, again, are the expert. You have the machines to be able to find that solution.
A lot of people think it's going to be cheaper just to put some refrigerant in there. And if that's the cause, that's fine. But if you have to add refrigerant, there is a leak in the system. Refrigerant typically doesn't go bad. So we can keep just guessing and throwing parts or gases at your vehicle, or we can figure out why it may be low or has an electrical issue. We fix that problem and it's fixed for a significant length of time instead of constantly trying to top off your AC system.
Well, right, if there's a leak and you just keep putting refrigerant into it, it's still gonna just leak out the entire time.
You're gonna throw good money after bad.
Right, and you wanna save money, and A1 Custom Car Care can do that for you. So Dustin, where can people go for more information?
So everybody finds you on Google. You can find us out there. You can stop by one of our 2 locations in Springfield, one in Republic. Call us up, we'll get you an appointment set. We'll make sure that you stay cool this summer.